In 1956, a converted tanker called the Ideal X carried 58 metal boxes from Newark to Houston. Last year, the world's ports handled 920 million of them. The box itself barely changed in 70 years. Its corners did. Look at any container ship and you are looking at one object, repeated. A steel rectangle, 20 or 40 feet long, with corrugated walls. 80% of world merchandise trade travels by sea, and about 90% of everything that is not raw bulk rides inside one of these. Your phone, your shoes, your coffee, all of it arrived in a steel box. The box has no engine, no electronics, and no moving parts. It is the least sophisticated object in the entire supply chain. It is also the reason the supply chain exists. Roughly $4 trillion in goods move through these services every year. So how did a steel rectangle rewire the global economy? The obvious answer is that containers made loading faster. Before containers, ships were loaded by hand, piece by piece. The method was called break bulk, and it was brutally slow. Crates, sacks, and barrels were stacked into the hold by hundreds of dock workers. A ship could sit at the dock for days. Sometimes it spent longer in port than at sea. The Ideal X was loaded in under 8 hours. A trucking executive named McLean had organized the whole experiment. So yes, the box made loading faster. But speed alone does not explain what happened next. Because the first containers were not standard. In the 1950s, competing shipping lines each built their own boxes. Different sizes, different fittings, different lifting hardware. A crane built for one company's box could not lift another company's box. Every fleet was an island. The box was faster, but it could not travel. The fix was not an invention. In 1961, the International Organization for Standardization created Technical Committee 104. Its only job was to decide what a shipping container is. In 1968, they published a document called ISO 668. It fixed the outside dimensions at 20 feet and 40 feet. And it fixed something far more important than length, the corner. An engineer named Keith Tantlinger designed the corner fitting, a steel casting at each of the box's 8 corners with an oval hole in every face. Into that hole slides a twist lock, a quarter turn, and the box is locked. Locked to the crane, to the ship, to the truck, to the train, and locked to the box above it and the box below it. Every container on Earth has the same 8 corners. That is the entire hidden system. Because the corner is standard, the crane does not need to know who owns the box. The ship does not need to know what is inside it. The truck does not need to know where it came from. The box stopped being cargo and became a unit. That unit has a name, the TEU, or 20-foot equivalent unit. Once the world could count boxes, it could price them. And once it could price them, the economics took over. A modern terminal moves about 27 boxes per ship hour at berth. The crane operator never touches the cargo. Dock theft collapsed because nobody opens a sealed box on the pier. Insurance fell, transit times fell, and reliability rose. And factories noticed. If distance is cheap and reliable, a factory does not need to sit near its customer. It can sit anywhere on Earth. Economists went looking for that effect in the data. Trade in containerizable goods rose about 23.5% over 10 years. One specification put the cumulative rise in bilateral trade near 85%. Containers did not follow globalization. They caused a large part of it. And then the system started feeding itself. A bigger ship lowers the cost of every box on board, so carriers built bigger ships, until one class reached 24,346 TEU. That is one ship carrying more than 400 Ideal X voyages at once. Bigger ships need deeper water, so ports dredged and automated. Deeper ports concentrated the traffic, so the routes concentrated too. The top 3 carriers now control roughly 48% of global capacity. 60% of world container port traffic now moves through developing Asia. The port of Shanghai alone crossed 50 million TEU in 2024. Here's the number that shows how hard this system works. The entire world fleet holds about 28 million TEU of capacity, yet ports handled 920 million TEU in a single year. Every slot on every ship turns over roughly 30 times a year. When the MOL Comfort broke apart in 2013, 4,293 boxes went into the sea. In a normal year, the fleet loses a few hundred, against hundreds of millions moved. The system is astonishingly reliable, right up until it is not. And that is the reveal. The container is not a shipping technology. It is an agreement about a corner wearing a steel shell. Standardize the smallest part of a system, and you can move the world through it.